you have talked about at length with so many people. Jon Jones, undisputed, disputed, interim, unification bout. It happened over the weekend. Dana White says he's retired. You were the undisputed champion. How are you feeling a few days after?
I mean, to be honest, I would have rather fought for it, of course. I did defend the interim though, which is a weird thing as well. Yeah, to be honest, I always saw myself as a champion anyway. I think the whole Jon Jones thing was a bit weird. I think everybody can see that was a bit of a strange situation. But luckily now that is in the past and we can move on, which is good.
Tell me how it happened. Your father has come out and said that you knew, but you didn't know exactly. And I think the way in which Dana White did it was surprising. I mean, it caught a lot of people off guard in the middle of the night in Azerbaijan. Is it, announcing this type of retirement? Where were you? How did you find out? And what were those first moments like?
So I had been for a meal, and been out and stuff for the day. I was just getting a shower. It was just before midnight, and I started getting calls on my phone that they'd announced it, and I was like, what's this? I knew that, obviously, I had an inkling that Jon Jones was going to retire and they're going to move forward and I'm going to be the champion. But as you said, I didn't expect it last weekend, and I didn't expect it to be in Azerbaijan. All due respect to Azerbaijan and stuff, but I just didn't, it's just not really what I expected. So, like I said, I would have rather fought for it. I would rather take the title from the champion. But I honestly believe that I was already a champion in my own right anyway, so a little bit of a weird situation, but it's all in the past.
Do you feel like you were denied the memory, the experience of being crowned an undisputed champion, or at least at a press conference in Vegas? I mean, you were coming here a few days later. Were you kind of denied a little bit of the fanfare that should come along with becoming the heavyweight champion of the world?
You know what? I would have liked to fight for it. The other stuff, it's not really important to me. Like, in a year's time or whatever, people are just going to forget, and I'm just going to be known as a champion anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I've said it a million times, but I just like fighting people. That's what I really enjoy above everything else. Titles, money, fame, all the rest of it. I just like the actual act of training for a fight, the build up to it, fighting people, putting your skills to the test. I love all that stuff. Like, I'm a proper MMA nerd. And the fact that I've not had a chance to do that, I'm just relieved that it's over and we can move forward.
Yeah, and I want to look forward. I feel like I need, because we were just waiting for this for so long. So of course there are some loose ends to tie up. I want to ask you about some of this stuff with Jon. The part that I want to ask you about is going back to March, and that is when the UFC was in London, or I'm sorry, in England. It was London. It was London.
Yeah, it was.
And you were there as a guest fighter, and then you met Hunter Campbell. And it seemed like it was a lot of positive. It seemed like that was a moment in this whole saga where, I think we're going to get this fight. You kind of said that the talks went well, but now that it's all resolved, what happened in London? What were your talks with Hunter Campbell then?
I mean, I believe that's the UFC's business, really. As far as I just did everything that was asked of me, to be honest. What their business is with the other side is their business, and I don't really know what happened. I know that the UFC were pretty sure that it was going to happen, and that's all I know, really. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I know that there's people that come out and said he's been offered the money that he asked for and he got the time he asked for and everything. I just got told that I was fighting and I went along with it, and that's all I know.
Yeah. In your mind, were you expecting a contract? Were you to that point where you were thinking that a contract could come through at any moment?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I was expecting that, yeah, but didn't happen.
And I don't know if you saw this or not, but Dana White told a very prominent MMA journalist, Oscar Willis from the Mac Life, that the fight
very prominent
was done. He said it was finished. The fight was done. When did you start to feel like, maybe the fight's not done?
I don't know, because he was putting a lot of stuff out on social media, but people were always like, he's just playing mind games. He's gonna sign the contract, but then he just didn't. So. When stuff started to come out about him speaking that he's not going to fight again and he's going to retire and stuff, I didn't know what to believe, to be honest. And I thought, I don't know if this is actually going to happen, and then it didn't. So, mate, honestly, I've said it a million times. I was never actually chasing Jon. I was chasing the heavyweight title all along. The face, I mean, don't get me wrong, Jon Jones would have been an amazing scalp, time on record, but the opponent, the guy standing across from me, never mattered. It never has mattered. It never will matter. What was important to me was being the best in the world. So the other stuff was pretty irrelevant. As I said, it would have been a great scalp. That would have, you know, propelled me more than any other fight. But a fight's a fight. I'm not too bothered.
Obviously, you know, it impacts you financially, and you know, Dana even talked about like your legacy, not fighting for a year, but even just from a mood standpoint. I mean, this is what you like to do. So how has the last year been, just in terms of not being able to do what you like to do?
You know what? You can look at it from both sides. I've improved a lot in a year, and because I was always uncertain of when I'm going to fight, I've stayed locked in for like a full year, which is something that I've never really done before. It's always been like train, fight, time off, train, fight. Whereas this time I've actually stayed consistent with my training and stuff, stayed consistent with the lifestyle, and I think that I've made like massive improvements, that is actually one of the positives to not fighting regular, is that you can be consistent with improvement. Whereas if you got like an 8-week window for a fight or a 12-week window, you're training for one guy. Now I was just training to get better in the whole time, ready to sign a contract if it was Jon or somebody else, to then prepare for that one guy. But I've had like 10, 11 months just training to get better, so I feel like I'm much better than I was last year.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.